Welcome to A Friend of Mine, a series of conversations with some incredible and inspiring women in business from regional and rural Australia. I'm Kimberly Finesse, your host and the founder and editor of Oak Magazine, and I cannot wait to introduce you to some amazing female entrepreneurs who will share with you their experience and knowledge of what it takes to start, grow and scale a successful business. So let me introduce you to a friend of mine. Patrina Roberts and her family have a motto: always rainbows after rain and then dance in the sunshine. It's a motto their family adopted 11 years ago when their eldest daughter was diagnosed with leukemia. Those words have provided strength and knowledge that life is so very short and such a gift. Patrina recalls having to push through some very dark days, working 3 jobs to pay back the debt encountered to get treatment in Sydney, which was over 500 kilometres away from their home in Wagga Wagga. One day, Patrina's husband came home from his work as a courier to tell her about the perfect store he had found in Junee, New South Wales. In 24 hours, Patrina had made a decision, and within 2 weeks, they began working on the fit-out and opening Studio on Sunshine, a handmade boutique. The business was open barely 8 months before COVID hit Australia. It was an uphill battle to keep the doors open, as the business unfortunately didn't qualify for most grants. But Patrina and the business came out the other side thriving, and more importantly, she has found balance and happiness. Patrina shares with us her family's personal journey, what it took to open a business and why they chose Junee, the importance of creativity, and so much more. Meet my friend Patrina from Studio on Sunshine. Hello, Patrina, and welcome to our special 5-part series in celebration of International Women's Day.
Oh, hello, Kimberly. Thank you so much for having me.
Well, it's my pleasure. You are a long-time follower and supporter of Oak, so it was lovely to see you just a minute ago on video. It was really, really nice.
Put a face to me.
Exactly. Now, before we actually kick off into our episode today, which is all about, leaving your 9 to 5 and starting your own business, you're from Junee. I would love you to tell me a little bit about that area. Like, what happens there? What have you got there? Why do I want to come and visit?
I actually live in Wagga, so that's 35 k's from Junee, so I travel over to the shop from Wednesday to Sunday. But yeah, my hubby's the courier there, so we know about the town and the beautiful people there and the lovely community. So it's just a lovely little rural town. So it's not far from Canberra. It's sort of in between Sydney and Melbourne, so people can travel down through the Blue Mountains. They can come from Queensland way, so it's a nice little town that, if you're getting off that beaten track. But yeah, we've got lots of beautiful things. The licorice factory, the roundhouse, which is good if you like your choo-choos. So you can go in and see, the mechanical part of the trains when they come on through. So that's a big part because it's a historic railway town. So there's that. A little bit before Junee, there's a little town, and it's got the little spiral, so you can go and see the trains coming into and that sort of thing. So there's lots of pretty little places to come and see. We're trying to get more sort of into the town to have more to offer, but we're there. There's a Aussie Uggs across the road from us. There's an antique store next to us. Don't laugh, but we actually still have a video store, which I love. I still go and hire my video on a Friday most days. Yeah. So it's the smoke shop / video store. So
my gosh, I don't even have anything that could play a video, Patrina. Like,
well, your DVDs.
Yeah, or even a DVD. How funny!
So we still do that. So it's something we still love to do. So it sounds archaic, but it's nice.
No,
and
it's nostalgia.
Marnie, who owns it's just beautiful. So it's a good little town.
Absolutely. I was at an event last night, and it was you'd call it a rural community. They're only a small community. Same thing. They're off the freeway now from Bendigo to Melbourne. So you sort of have to come off the freeway to visit. And to be honest, the hot topic was about places actually being open.
Mm.
for tourists.
Yeah.
I'm interested. Are you finding that in Junee, like
We
especially with like
are.
hospitality and the like?
Yeah, yeah. Well, with COVID, like the tourism part, just you could actually just feel it. It just cut off. So it cut off Victoria, Canberra, Sydney, Queensland, and you actually felt that instant kind of shut off, and not a nice feeling when you're in a retail business. But yeah, it just we're sort of like a little bit in between. So people like to get off that beaten track and come through. So we're starting to feel those travellers come back, and which is so nice. It's so nice to see. We have our Victorians back, which we love, Canberrians and that. So yeah, it's just it's a lovely little town, and yeah, people love coming to visit on their way through, which is good.
Yeah, yep. I think it's on the up now.
Yeah, oh, I hope so.
Tourism, yeah, really seems. There was a lady last night, she's in accommodation. She was saying that she's booked out 28 days straight. And, I mean, they've not had that for the last 2 years, obviously, but she said even before that, that wasn't a regular occurrence. So, I mean, she's just ecstatic about how everything's starting to pick up, which is really nice to see. It's nice to see people, I don't know, just that weight lifted off their shoulders too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and to
Cracks me
talk to
up.
them. I'm always sort of, where are you from? When they come in the door, interested to know.
Yep.
But it's just beautiful. It's beautiful to have them all back on the road and able to get out and about. And you're finding that supporting small rural towns is coming back in. So yeah, it's a lovely, lovely thing.
Good feeling. I want to start with the motto that your little family have adopted because it's what you sent through as your opening line when you pitched for the podcast. And it's always rainbows after rain and then dance in the sunshine.
Yeah, so that's something that's always been a motto for us, particularly over the 11 years. We had a daughter diagnosed with leukemia at the age of 5. So it meant that Wagga is 500 k's from Sydney. We actually had to travel all that way to get her treatment, basically moved there for the first 6 months or so, and just come back and forth and back and forth. So that rainbows after rain is really important. It's the thing that keeps you looking towards the good stuff, understanding that there's so many bad bits, but those rainbows are always going to come through after that rain. So very, very important. And now I sort of pop that little doormat at the front of my shop, and it's something that keeps me guided, to look forward and to dance in that sunshine.
Yeah, absolutely. How's your daughter now
Oh,
today?
she's good. She's a
Yep.
regular pain in the bum now. She's 16 now and
Oh,
just
wow.
just thriving. So it's still hard. I've missed that little bit about her growing up pretty much because most of that was in Sydney. So now she's a senior, which I'm finding hard to grasp. It's just she's in year 11 and just become this lovely woman, and it's lovely. She's a blessing, absolute blessing.
Now, through that time, you were letting me know that, you had to work almost 3 jobs, to obviously pay for the hospital bills. And I mean, travel's never cheap at any time. That must have been an incredibly difficult time for you.
Yeah, it was. So I actually had to give up my job as a receptionist. So I was working at a local community college, and the initial plan, I guess, when she was first diagnosed was that we'd go to Sydney. My husband's a courier, so he's the main breadwinner. So he was going to be the person working and paying the bills. And I was initially just going to stay up there with Zoe, but we were only up there for probably 2-3 weeks, and I found out I was already pregnant. So, to shove another thing into the balance of things, it was just kind of, what are we going to do? So I actually couldn't do what I wanted to do because I was pregnant. I wasn't allowed to go near the chemo and things like that. So I had to step back from our original plan. Hubby, with work, they gave him some special sort of leave, and he actually finished his job here and went up there and basically stayed by Zoe's bedside. So I was up there too, Mummy, I couldn't be away from my child, but it initially got too hard for me, and I ended up back on bed rest in Wagga, which was probably even worse to do. But yeah, so it was just one income, which, I mean, he was getting a little bit of sick leave and things like that, but no actual income to come in. We had a charity, Country Hope. They helped us a great deal and still do. They're beautiful, but the accommodation up there, Roddy Max, it's not free. It's a lower cost accommodation. So you're paying for your home rental, you're paying for your Sydney accommodation, you still got your food and things like that. So you kind of got two places that you're trying to fund on little to no income. So yeah, it was incredibly hard time.
Oh, just can't imagine. I mean, I know people struggle financially sometimes, but to have that extra stress of, your daughter's health, and then obviously, being pregnant, I mean, that's exhausting, isn't it? Like it's oh my God, there are certain periods in that 9 months where you just fall asleep at the drop of a hat.
I was sick the whole time through. I don't handle it very well. But we'd lost one a little bit before, so there was that stress of that happening again too. So, the doctor thought the best thing for me to do would be back in Wagga and 500 Ks from my daughter, which wasn't good. But anyway, there was little video chats and photos sent back and forward and things like that. And I got up there, any time that I could to be with them too. So, but, and that creative side that's helped me through that. You see it so much up there. It's a different planet, but they use art to be in that happy place. So I see that as a really good value that I use in me as well. It's always sitting there with a pen and paper and doodling on the bedside and things like that. So that helped me greatly to get through that time with her. So
yeah, creativity, it's so underrated, underrated.
So much value in it.
There is.
You don't understand the gravity that it can bring to your mental health. So very, very important.
So how did you, obviously your daughter got better, how did you come to opening your own store? What's that middle part? What's that middle story like?
So there was a little bit, with getting Emerson, the youngest, to childcare and things like that, and going back into the workforce and balancing that as well. But I ended up in another part-time job, and then that didn't work out. And then I ended up in a contracting job, which was full-time, and just not a very happy place. I found it quite toxic, and just mentally just was not good for me. And balancing home life as well as, going to work full-time and that sort of thing, it just wasn't working. And hubby sort of saw me a couple of times, in fetal position in bed, and he just said, this isn't good for you. And I knew that, but, we needed to pay those bills, and that stress to do that was just, I had to cut that off and think of myself and think of the happy mummy that I wanted my kids to see, and that I wanted my husband to see, and that I wanted to be. So hubby actually went through Junee. He found the location for us, and he come home and he said, I think I found your spot for Studio and Sunshine. And, oh, God, within 2 weeks we popped the business together. So it was crazy, an absolutely crazy, silly thing people thought we were doing. But, we're coming up to 3 years. So, it wasn't so crazy. And I get to go to my happy place, and I get to come home happy, and that is just so important.
Oh my gosh. I'm really emotional on this side of it.
I'm trying not to cry.
I don't know just if it's lack of sleep this week, hormones, or I think it's actually listening to just so many incredible stories. I think it's just got me. I'm glad we actually don't have the camera on. I'm a mess today. Oh gosh.
I'm giving you a virtual hug.
Yeah, thank you. Your husband just sounds absolutely
He's a rock.
amazing.
he is such a rock. He is he's my very, very, very best friend, and he is my backbone. So for moments that I am, you know, lost or don't know what to do, is constant soundboard. The poor thing, I come home and I'm kind of like, oh, we should do this and we should do that. And he's so patient. But he loves it. And he's a truck driver. So he actually will say to me some weekends, he said, I'll go in on Sunday, you stay here. He loves it. He loves that little chat, and he loves what we do and what we stand for there at Studio and Sunshine. So he gets it. He gets the whole picture, and it's his happy place too.
Oh, beautiful. How did you both know how to start a business? Like, where did you go for that information? Like, is it a Google job, or like, where did you go?
It was a hell of a learning curve, I can tell you.
It is,
it's not just a matter of finding a shop and getting the key and opening up, So there were lots of little things. Finding the right location was really important, and that rural town is the feel that I wanted for our handmade boutique. So, we ticked that box, and then finding that we needed a DA actually with council. That was something we didn't anticipate.
Yep. And what's a DA, Patrina?
So it's a development application with council. So because we're in a main street and we're opening retail premises, you actually need to have all that legal things to actually open. So you need the DA. You need to make sure that you've got a fire extinguisher and your exit signs are working, that you've got your public liability, which is really important. You actually can't open a business without it. So those sort of things, register your business name and all those sort of things. So there was so much involved that, silly little me thought, we could just go get a key, we can open up. But the DA was, it was quite costly, but
I was going to say, was there cost, like, did it cost more than you thought opening a business?
Yes. Yeah, but we started from nothing. We actually, with all our backstory, we've got no savings at all. So we live week to week, every week, still do. But it was, finding the display shelves for the store. And with that, we incorporated and paid the local men's shed to help us with a few things. We had a couple little bits and pieces from when we used to do markets and things like that. The Wi-Fi on, the electricity. You're in a commercial premises, so your rate for electricity is more expensive than your residential, which people don't really realise.
And your internet, your Wi-Fi.
Yes. Yeah.
So, it's almost worth hotspotting.
Yes.
It's just ridiculous, the
We've
cost
got one
of
those little standalone little box things, but it works perfectly for the FPOS and that sort of thing. So, there's a little bit involved, but I can say on this end it was easy now, but it wasn't. But so worth it. But yeah.
And just like as you've progressed through the last 3 years, have you kept investing in yourself in terms of business knowledge?
Well, that's the thing I'm working on currently. I mean, with COVID and things like that, I haven't had the chance to actually go and do those sort of business things to make me a better business lady, to know more about, what I need to do. But I'm working on them. I'm actually starting to go to a lot of events, which is totally out of my comfort zone because I am actually a very shy person. Don't like speaking in more than 3 people at a time. So I'm putting myself out there more with that, and trying to shake off the anxiety and things of going to things alone, and to get in there and get a bit more knowledgeable and do that for my business. So yeah.
Just to those that do go to networking events, I've been, like, even just this week, I've been to a city-based one and a country-based, and the vibe was so very different. But if you're going to a networking event and you're standing there with a group of people talking, please open your circle. When you see someone by themselves hovering, I just think that whole, these closed circles where they sort of look over at you and then they keep talking, it is so hard to break in. Oh, it's a horrible feeling. And I'm telling you, how often I go to these things by myself as well. Like, I spend a fair bit of time in the bathroom just like going, oh my God, can the speakers just start so I can sit down and then, do what I have to and take off after that.
But they're things I'm really just pushing myself to do now. I'm starting to get that confidence in myself now to actually,
Mm.
get out there more and to network a little bit more and
Yeah.
get to know
Because you
more
don't know who you
business
find
people.
either, Patrina, do you? Yep,
Exactly,
who you connect with.
exactly.
Mm.
And we all can learn from each other too, so that's a good thing.
Yeah, yep. So opening Studio on Sunshine was
Mhm.
July 1st, 2019.
Yes,
Now,
coming up to
obviously,
3 years.
yeah, 3 years. I mean, 1st of July 2019, that was a good time for everyone. Now, when we do the maths, you're pretty much barely open, 8 months
Yep,
before, COVID hit,
yep,
and then extended out for 2 years.
yeah.
Almost, yeah, three the way we're
Pretty
going.
much our whole business existence, I think.
Yeah, yeah. So tell me about that side of it. Like, what were those first 8 months like? Did it feel good? I mean, you obviously had Christmas in there as well.
Yep.
Yeah, what was it like?
It was a bit daunting,
Mm,
crazy, exciting, happy, stressful, like all the kit and caboodle. But most of all, it just felt like I was in the right place, doing the right thing, and that's the bit that I kept holding on to, through those COVID bits and whatnot. Is that we're doing what we need to do, we're doing what we love to do, and we'll get through this. We'll roll this roller coaster, and we'll make it happen. And so it was just a crazy, crazy time. But it's all starting to look on the up and up now. So
yeah, that's
forward,
good.
forward.
Awesome. What were the challenges of COVID for you as a new business?
Uh, well, most people thought that, having a small business, you'd have those government handouts. Um, with those dates, we actually weren't actually a business with the comparison date, so we didn't qualify for anything, which was really hard. I think the last 2 weeks, this last lockdown, we actually found some funding, but there was, I can't even add up the amount of time with no income at all and no assistance. So that was hard because we're technically a non-essential business.
Yeah.
And me travelling 40 k's to my shop for something, that's deemed not essential was not on the cards. So because of restrictions and whatnot. So just incredibly hard.
Mm.
It just those sort of things were not set up for our type of business.
Yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
Are you online? Do you have a website?
Oh, look, the second last lockdown, I actually opened an online store with Shopify. We tried to get it going. I'm still, Kimberly, that's something that I really have to learn
Yep.
and get going. I've engaged in a couple of people to sort of help me start that off and figure out, what I'm doing and whatnot. And we started that, but it was just nothing. And funnily enough, the people, when we opened back up, they said they didn't do a lot of online shopping. They preferred to come and look and to see and to, touch and feel the products, which I get. But yeah, that online presence is something that we're working on, and hopefully we can get that up and going soon. But it's a little bit hard because we're a different sort of setup to a normal retail where you own all the products. We have, I think, around about probably 30 creatives that we stock under consignment. So there's that kind of factor, and there's you've got to have stock here as well as stock in the shop. So that inventory and that sort of thing works out. So it's a little bit fiddly, but we'll get there.
Yeah, it's just finding what's going to work for you, really, isn't it? And that might
Exactly.
be a bit of trial and error, or it might be just finding someone in a similar space and asking the question, like,
Yeah,
"Hey,
exactly.
how do you do this?" And I'm just thinking, like, literally that event I was at last night, they're a similar setup to you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so they have lots of products that obviously from creatives
Yep.
on consignment because they weren't open per se
Mm,
last night for sales, retail sales. So I was like,
yeah.
oh, wouldn't mind a little retail
Have a
shop. As
look.
soon as you walk in, you've got all these earrings. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'd love a pair of those. So I got home and I quickly just jumped onto their website and
Yeah.
they didn't have sort of anything. So that's why I'm like, oh, okay, that's
Yeah.
sort of how that works. I'll have to
Well,
go
we're
for a
on
little
there.
drive.
We're on
Yeah.
there, but we're not actually live as such. I'm still sort of working in the background, but Yeah.
Well, if you ever need a
We'll get
second
there.
set of eyes, just holler out. More than
Yeah.
happy to have a look.
Beautiful.
So coming up to this Christmas, I mean, things were starting to open up a little bit. Has it got better? Was Christmas good? Like,
Last
did that
Christmas was
good?
phenomenal. It
Good.
was, our hearts were so full. It was just, the mentality of people I found with the shopping, Junee and Wagga are so close together, so 35 minutes, and a lot of the community basically said, we're going to shop Junee and shop local rather than travelling to Wagga, which was just a lovely thing to hear that, you're providing enough that they don't have to do that and they don't have to go out of town and they want to shop with you. So Christmas was just great. We popped in the rustic basket too, which was a food section, gluten-free candy, condiments and crackers. So that was a little handmade baskets that I make myself, and people go around the shop and popping a little bit of food in and a little bit of earrings and candles and whatnot, and we'd wrap them up all pretty and send them out the door. So those sort of things, at Christmas were just, I'm always trying to think of new things to pop in and to keep that interest. It's a constant cog in my brain at night time, which is probably why I'm not sleeping. But it's just like a general, you've got to keep your regular customers happy and keep providing something new, which is really, really important to do. And to have those travellers come through, and to offer those different things, it's just the constant thing, I guess, of retail. But we were happy. It was lovely. It was a beautiful Christmas.
Now, I just want to pick up there on, in terms of return customers, what percentage would that be of your total sales, do you think? Is there a really large percentage of people that are coming back, or are they just the tourists?
Yeah, no, there's probably a little bit of both, but we still find, and this is just a crazy thing, I haven't quite put my head to figuring out why, but there's still people in Junee that still don't know that we're there, which I've got to work on. Like, you have a lot of the farmies that don't come in, they might come in twice a year into town because they don't need to otherwise, but getting us known a little bit more with the community is something that I'm working on. So that part's a little, I'm not quite sure what's going on there, but you have people that are coming and haven't been in before, or you weren't open when I come in. We're actually closed on Monday, Tuesday. That's technically our weekend, and for me to do me stuff and home stuff and whatnot. So we're open the Wednesday to Sunday. So.
Do you struggle with bookkeeping or wonder how your business is doing financially? Yep, me too. Meet my finance friend and sponsor of this episode, Sarah Henney from Henney CFO. Sarah is based in Longreach, rural Queensland, and is empowering women to make confident financial decisions with her new flagship program, Bookkeeping for Profit. This unique online bookkeeping and business course provides you with the information, systems, and support you need to set up your own business, understand GST, read a P&L, manage cash flow, all of it and more. Work through the online training at your own pace with weekly support and access to a community of like-minded businesswomen from rural and regional areas who, like you, want to change the game, have a crack and be confident in their bookkeeping, because you've got to know your business to grow your business. If you want to know more about the program or register for a free masterclass and work with Sarah, head to the show notes or find Sarah on Instagram at HennyCFO. Now back to the episode. In terms of your opening hours, what do they look like and why? Like, why have you chosen to have the 2 days off and not work, the 7 days a week and run yourself ragged?
It's just me.
Yep.
It's just me. So I'm in the shop, and hubby occasionally relieves me on a Sunday every now and then and things like that. But Wednesday to Friday we're 10 till 5. So the 10 o'clock start, it allows me to be mummy and drop the kids off and give them a hug and wave them goodbye, and to have that balance, I guess, as a mum. So that's a good thing. So I drop them off and I'm usually in Junee by about sort of 9:45 and I open up. I don't have a lunch break or anything like that, so I stay open till 5. And Saturday, Sunday, we're 10 till 3. So again, starting a little bit late, I get to wake up with hubby, which is really important for us. Finish at 3, so I'm home for the afternoon snack, and there's that balance for me with those hours. And we do change them. Christmas we did like a late night shopping on Thursday, which was good. And I think we did like a couple of weeks there where we were non-stop, so Monday to Sunday. So I do put that in play, as things come along to those sort of occasions. So I guess it's tailored around me being a mum and having time with hubby, which is really important, and that total balance, which,
Yep.
yeah.
There has to be an upside of running your own business. And I
Oh,
honestly think when you have kids, it's that flexibility. Like I look back over COVID and, sometimes you think, oh gosh, if I had have had a corporate job, like I actually would have been okay. But at the same time, I don't know how I would have balanced like that 9 to 5 workload versus homeschooling the kids. Like I don't know. And then today, like already this morning, it's like 9 o'clock and I've been called down to the school to collect one of the kids because she was splashed with milk. It's, like, I mean, again, if I was in an office, I mean, I've just
mm-mm.
got there and I've got to say,
Yeah.
hey, I need to leave.
Yeah, it's not a nice feeling.
No,
No.
no. I love
And
that
that's
flexibility.
and that's one
Mm.
thing, with the 9 to 5 job or even the part-time job, you feel guilty as a mum because, hubby, he goes at 3:30 in the morning to work, so he gets home about lunchtime. So, he's already on the road, so it's pretty much just me if they're sick overnight and being home with them. It's that kind of, I can close the shop and say, sorry, mummy duties today. I don't like to do that, but I do have that opportunity now to do that. And people understand that. For some reason, in me being there on my own, the community understands those sort of things. Like today, I'm close to be with you and to talk to you. But people, once they figure out what I'm doing, they'll be happy. And it's that balance that I don't feel guilty anymore about doing those things. And so many highs though. There's
That
so
is
many
good.
highs about being your own business person. So.
Yeah. So, what would you say to someone that is, in a job that is, not fulfilling them, but as you said, like you've got that financial weight on you to
Yeah.
keep showing up 9 to 5, and we all have
Still
bills to
do.
pay. Like,
Mm.
yeah.
Yep.
What would you say to them? Like that step to doing what you've done is so
It's
freaking brave.
risky.
It's risky, it's bold, it's brave, it's courageous,
Crazy would
crazy.
be the word.
But it
Look,
worked.
life is so short,
Mm.
and mentally wise, if you're not happy where you are, if you can't find something that might bring you that happiness, if you're looking to open your own business, there's never a right time. Today's the right time, and you may not have tomorrow, so you just got to do it. Just jump, just do it. And we had nothing. We had nothing to start from, no savings, no nothing, and we managed to put it together. We've been going for 3 years nearly, so it can work with next to nothing. It's not probably the best opportunity to
Yeah.
do it, but it's important to have that mental health and to be happy in your job. And I'm lucky I get to do what I love every day, and share that love of handmade,
Yep.
and offer those creatives beautiful products, to people every day. So, it's good for us, and I think find your happiness.
Yeah. What would have happened if it didn't work out in that first 8 months?
Well, there's always the opportunity, isn't it, that things don't work out.
Yeah,
But
there is. Yep.
I guess, like even driving over the first day that I opened the shop, I had butterflies in my stomach. It was like the first day of school. And, there's been so many bits along the way where I've, like I said, been in fetal position in bed, and hubby's like, it's okay, it's going to work out. But if it didn't work out, I don't know what I would have done. I guess I would have still pushed on. I would have made it work because this is what I want to do. I want to be Studio on Sunshine. I want to be the handmade boutique, and I need this, and I'll do everything I can to make it work.
Yeah, I love
Mm.
that. That's beautiful. I mean, you shouldn't always look at it that it's going to fail, but I was just interested to know with some people these days, like, yeah, like what if
Don't
it
know.
didn't work out? I mean, what would you have done? Yeah, but
I'd
I
still be
suppose that's a
painting and stuff. I don't know. I don't know
yeah,
what I would
just
be
push
doing.
through.
Don't want to think about it.
No, you make it happen, don't you?
She'll do. She'll do.
Now, the most favorite question that I always ask is tell me about a friend of yours that we need to know about.
Oh, the beautiful Karen Allenby photography. She did my branding shots just this week, actually, just passed because we had a little deadline to get to. But she was so professional. She's a mum of 3. She's been in business for a little while, but she's just opened her a retail premises in Junee around the corner from us, which is a beautiful space. And yeah, just so professional and so I don't know, I went to her with a brief and she just sort of got what I needed. And yeah, she's just lovely. So look her up. She's just beautiful.
Love it. Those images look fantastic. I definitely appreciate you meeting a deadline. I know
I'm like,
that was me.
You want what? Let's make that happen. But yeah, she was
now you've
lovely.
got them. Sometimes you need that deadline to
Yeah.
make
And
something happen.
yeah, we've got more to come too. So that was just what we could do in the time that we had. But I hope to include some locations around Junee. So that'll be good.
I think
And
that'd be great. Yeah.
and bring out more of the artist in me. So I sometimes forget that I am a creator and that I am an artist. So that's really important to me too to bring that part out. And it's a good opportunity.
Patrina, you have the most beautiful story. You really do. I just love that. Yeah, you just took a really big, brave, courageous step. I think my husband's very similar. Just that person that's behind you, wanting the best for you. So I mean, shout out to them too. Like, it's so good when you have someone that supports that dream and wants better for you. God,
You'd
good
be
on you.
nowhere without them.
Yep, good on you.
Good on you, Adam.
Good job. Well
good
done.
job, babe.
Yeah. And yes, you obviously, it's not just a retail store that you've opened. You are actually providing a base for so many other creatives to showcase their work. And I think that's just a beautiful little community that you're building.
Yep.
And you picked Junee, even though you live in Wagga.
Yep.
Again, these rural towns, there's something so special and unique about them. And the more we can drive people to them for those little day trips, the better.
No, it'd be lovely. It'd be lovely to see people. And for you, if you come to Junee, that'd be good to meet you.
I keep saying I need to travel. I am travelling so much
Too
at the
much
minute,
now.
but it's all in Vic. I'm just over the border in New South Wales. So, Barham, Wakul, Moolameen, that sort of thing. But yeah, hopefully I reckon it'll be sort of the second quarter. Might be able to get some holidays in and start visiting.
A bit of rest time, I think you need.
I know. So listeners, what you haven't heard is my voice just breaking every 10 seconds and me having to repeat a question.
Professional hazard.
Yeah, absolutely. I talk far too much. But I was just thinking, like, it'd be great to put this podcast on the road and actually drive around and actually come into someone's store so that you didn't have to take a day out of the store, Patrina, to do this.
I love doing it. And, it's all good. It's all good.
Lovely. Well, thank you again so much for being a guest and, all the best for Studio on Sunshine.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for having me and for telling our story and to being behind those women in business. It's really important to have a voice and, I greatly appreciate it. Thank you.
My pleasure. Thank you. Now, before you take off with all that inspiration and knowledge, we'd love for you to leave a review on our podcast so that we can continue to amplify women's voices in the media. And if you have any questions, we'd like to celebrate a win, you can always connect with us on Facebook and Instagram at Oak Magazine AU. I'm so glad we've met and that now you know a friend of mine.